I'm gonna just give you one name. Watch out for Bishop Barnett, Florida A&M. Florida A&M is going to have to run the ball more. He's a little guy, but he's a scat back, and he likes to get the ball in space. So just one name I want you to look out for in that Orange Blossom Classic on tomorrow. Bishop Barnett.
Got the Charles Edmond.
Oh, Carlos, you caught me sideways with that question.
Well, BJ stole mine, but
I'm looking down the list here. I'm going back to my alma mater. I'm going back to Grambling and Tennessee State. You heard all the hype a while back about this kid Biden, that quarterback was recruited as the best quarterback in the city of New York. I'm thinking that he might be the guy that will probably get a lot of snaps against Tennessee State tomorrow. So I'm looking for some big numbers from him. And if that's the case, Grambling will win the football game. If there's one guy that I can just think of right off the top, I've been talking about Biden forever, ever since he was recruited by Grambling. We'll see if he gets on the field, and we'll see if he has an impact.
That'll be interesting. So, BJ St. Chandler Whitfield, who, by the way, in Southern's first scrimmage had a nice long touchdown reception. And this is a guy, I'll say this. He has the mannerisms of Willie Quinn, but bigger. From all things being told, just as fast. And you remember him, Willie Quinn. Wow. But I guess I'm going to go with Tyler Kirkwood, receiver who had 3 receptions for over 100 yards for Southern University in their last scrimmage. And so he gets to start. He gets to start today.
As a freshman.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The spring always throws me, BJ. He's still a freshman. Yeah. He gets to start. And if I can pull up. I got a hold of the depth chart, but he gets to start. And I want to say if he didn't start against Jackson State in the spring, I think he did, but he did play a lot. He had a drop, but he has improved as well. So I think that's a name that after tonight, you'll look at the stats and say, wow, he did well. Thanks a lot, BJ, for taking who I really wanted to talk about. But I think Whitfield, and as a slot receiver, he's deadly. He is deadly if you get him in space. So that's who I believe will have a pretty good game today. Guys, as we get ready, I guess we close out about 12:20, something like that. AD, about 12:25, something like that. As I look up Southern University's depth chart. What do you think happens? Is there a chance? Who has the best chance for a win that we've predicted that would not probably get the win? Who has the best chance of an upset? And I know we kind of mentioned Bethune-Cookman, but who has the best chance for the upset, quote unquote?
I would think it's Southern University. Me personally. I think with Southern, with the talent they bring back, this Troy is not the Troy program that they were a few years back that went to LSU. This ain't the same Troy program. They have been down up under head coach Chip Lindsey. He's on the hot seat. I've talked to some Troy people that say, no, I'm not coming to the game. It's my silent protest of Chip Lindsey.
Wow. Who comes from Auburn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alabama guy, coached in the high school ranks, and was able to go over to Troy. That fan base and Chip Lindsey is a little testy. And I joke with one of the guys. I said, well, we'll do you a favor. We'll go ahead and get the ball rolling real fast for you on Saturday night. But I think that Southern has an opportunity. Troy has not been spectacular since their head coach left and went to West Virginia a few years ago. They have not had a winning season, have not been back to a bowl game. And we're talking about a Troy program that you look at the Sun Belt was one of the most successful programs in the Sun Belt. And they have not been to a bowl game, have not had a winning season. So I think couple that with what Southern's bringing back, I think that Southern has a puncher's chance in this one.
Interesting. If I could, guys, I said Tyler Kirkwood, yes, a freshman. He is a starter. Also, Cameron Peterson, redshirt junior, first year in Southern University's football program, 6'5", 280, played from McNeese State. I think he will be a man. He will be a man out there on the field for Southern University. It'll be interesting. Charles, who you think has the best opportunity for an upset?
I'm gonna go with Texas Southern. You know, I even though I've got Prairie View to win the game, you know, just in talking about these games, I want to think that Texas Southern could be the fall version of UAPB. Nobody talked about UAPB in the spring. Nobody talked about the UAPB at all, and you saw what happened. No one's talking about Texas Southern at all. Everyone's talking about Dooley in the hot seat and this exotic offense, and he's not getting it done. Coach McKinney was the quietest guy at media day, other than Coach Sims and Cooking. And so I think that Texas Southern, if, as they say on the street, if Prairie View plays around with this one, Texas Southern could get them. So if there's an upset special, I'm gonna say Texas Southern.
I think I would have to agree with you, Charles. You know, I was, you know, before I was rudely interrupted by AD, I was going to say Texas Southern for my upset, but then I changed my mind. AD, look how AD is looking at me. But I have to agree with Charles. Texas Southern.
You do know I control us, right? I can just hit a button and end all this, like.
and you're right. And this is archived immediately after the show. So yeah, I was being facetious. All right, BJ, we appreciate you. BJ has to leave us right now. We got a few more minutes, but AD, you kind of like what Charles said. I agree. Texas Southern,
right?
It's the best chance.
Just want to throw some things out there. Would you consider Bowie State over Delaware State, Virginia Union over Hampton, or Miles over Alabama State upsets? Because I really don't. Even though they're Division II team.
Yeah, because the Delaware State has had struggles, and Bowie. When I think of Bowie State, I think of offensive explosion. I mean, and not just in 1 year, several years. So to answer your question, no, I technically no, that's not an upset to me.
All right. But I am going to give you one to consider. And I'm going off the radar on this one. You know, I'm a small school guy. I'm an SIAC guy. Savannah State, Valdosta State.
Oh, wait a minute.
I know it's not an HBCU on HBCU matchup. But Valdosta State, the Division II champion in 2018, playoff team 2019. Everybody forgets. Savannah State still has athletes who were recruited to play in the MEAC, walking around on campus, still playing football. So you've got Division I athletes on a Division II schedule. We know they did not have success at the Division I level, but what happened as soon as they came down? We saw how they dominated the SIAC in 2019. Even though they weren't eligible. Did you pay attention to what they did this spring? They won both their games this spring, one of them in blowout fashion. They put up 80 on somebody this spring. Savannah State making a statement for the SIAC. They saw what Albany State did. They cannot let Albany State one up them in this race and possibly get a second team into the region. Savannah State in the upset over Valdosta State.
If that happens, I will eat beef liver for dinner over rice, and I can't stand liver. My goodness. But you know what, AD?
Mama Brown got a good recipe for it.
I tell you what, that would be a shocker.
Yeah, but that's my bold prediction.
Well,
that's pretty bold.
Yeah. I noticed AD kind of gives you something out the box. I kind of like that. He has a knuckle curve that's pretty nasty in baseball terminology. And so I'm learning that in this relationship right now. If that happens, Charles, I'm going to text you and I'm going to text AD. Wow. And start listening more, you know?
Yeah.
Let me do this. We're still in a pandemic, and I want to thank everyone who texted and checked on me. AD did. Charles Edmond did. Charles Bishop. A lot more reached out to me. We were able to survive here in Baton Rouge, but continued prayers for Baton Rouge. It was awful. That wind, it was more of a windstorm. They were talking about flooding, but keep Hammond, Louisiana in your prayers. They got it worse than Baton Rouge. They're a little further east. New Orleans and below just decimated. It may be a month before the power comes back on for the total city. You saw during this broadcast, I lost power for about 5, 6, 8 minutes. That's just what happens now. But thanks to everyone who reached out to me. I really appreciate it. Also, Kelvin Franklin, a local football star at Catholic High School, went on to play at LSU, transferred to Southern University, got news late last night, died of complications from COVID-19. So it is still real out there, and things hit close to home, of course, especially when you know somebody either personally or from the sports world, because that's what we do. We're in sports media. So thoughts and prayers go out to the Franklin family. He was a tremendous football player, and he's journeyed from this life. So still be safe out there. Still do the things necessary to keep safe, so that you know can be around. We're still in the pandemic, Charles and AD, and so even going into the stadiums, practice the proper protocol is still so important. Charles, we'll give you final comments on today's show, then I'll go to AD.
Well, you know, you were talking about Jackson State and Florida A&M. I want to go back to that game. I think AD Drew brought up a good point. You know, all the hype and talk about Coach Sanders and Jackson State and what's happened, I always keep in mind, if you look at the amount of time he's been on that job, he officially started December 5th. He's been on the job 9 months. His coaching staff's been on the job probably 9.5 months, because I think they were hired before he officially started. Even though we had a spring, we got a good sample size of that. They started out great, but fizzled. They've only been on the post for a few months. So if you're on a job and you've been on a job 9 months, you still don't know how everything's supposed to fit. They got a lot of transfers in, a lot have left. And so this coaching, and I know there's a lot of pressure on Jackson State because of all the hype, but keep in mind, they've only been on the job 9 months. And I don't know of a coach other than Nick Saban and maybe 2 or 3 others on this planet that could turn around a program quickly. We did it with Jay Hobson. In 1 year, we were one step away from winning the East. And you know what happened from there with Hobson and, of course, Fred McNair. It happens. It can happen, but it typically doesn't happen. So I would just say if people are just patient a little bit. I know the patience is thin at Jackson State. They hadn't won a championship since 2007. It's been a decade of futility. We know, but I think for them, you have to build it step by step, and they'll go a long way with it tomorrow if they can get it done. But if not, just trust the process.
Spoken like a true Nick Saban fan. He always talks about the process. AD? Gotta unmute your mic. There you go.
I'm outside this restaurant, so I have to make sure that I'm not picking up any ambient audio. So the state of Alabama for this weekend is the center of the HBCU football universe. Alabama A&M, South Carolina State in Huntsville. How is that game not on TV or something? I don't know. That's the game I want to watch today. I will be at the Miles versus Alabama State game tomorrow. Red Tails Classic. What Valley at Tuskegee. So all 4 teams from the state of Tuskegee are playing, from the state of Alabama, are playing in the state of Alabama over the weekend. Doesn't happen too often like that. So while we got all these other games going on and everybody has their traditional classes, the state of Alabama is where it is. And then we're going to take it one step further. The Red Tails Classic, if you don't know why this classic was created, shame on you. Google them. They are the reason we have so many freedoms today. The Tuskegee Airmen, AKA the Red Tails. They train less than 5 miles from where I sit right now. So I was there when that field was rededicated to them. I was at that ceremony. So when I speak with a passion about them, yes, I do speak with a passion about them. I went to church with some original Tuskegee Airmen when I lived in this community. So all the other classes, you know, they have what they have, but this classic is special because of why it was created.
And I would just like to say it's never been a better time when we look at the climate of this country. HBCU sports, HBCU athletics, even from the media standpoint, Black College Sports Network have an opportunity to join this network in July. And no one can tell our story better than us. We have different personalities, we have different shows for your taste and more coming. So with that being said, you have a commissioner in the Southwestern Athletic Conference and Dr. McClellan who realized you got to strike while it's hot. And this conference is hot right now, but not just only this conference, all of HBCU sports. And we have to make sure that someone will always be telling the story, whether it's video streaming, traditional radio, television shows, newscasters, journalists, podcasters, so that the story will always be told. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and share the Carlos Brown Show on the Black College Sports Network and the Black College Sports Network and all the different shows that we have for you here. I think you will be pleasantly surprised and you'll be happy with what we have to offer. Now, usually this is a spot as we wrap it up. I go to AD again to kind of give all the particulars on the show, shows. So AD, the floor is yours about talking about how everyone can enjoy the Black College Sports Network and all of their shows. And we welcome Charles Edmond to the Black College Sports Network. You'll be seeing him throughout the organization. So with that being said, AD, take us out.
My BCSN and the #1 on all social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On YouTube, my JBN and the #1. You can hit me up personally on Twitter at BCSNDREW. Website www.bybcsn.com. then go to Google Play and the Apple App Store. Download our app. It is important that you download our app. That way you are first to get the alerts when we have a new podcast. We have new podcasts such as Brave Talk. Having conversation, may have 1876 Sports and Culture coming on soon. Carlos Brown Show, the Sports Rap, Knights of the Round Table, Dr. Kabir inside HBCU Sports Lab with Dr. Kabir, the pregame show, and Carlos. I know I'm leaving something out because we add show. I forgot what we call BJ Jones's show, HBCU football.
HBCU football.
Yeah, it's inside HBCU football. So we've got so many shows I can't even keep up anymore. All I know is I got to push buttons and make sure they show up between myself and Brian Fulford. So also go to your favorite streaming app, Spotify, iHeart, whatever it is. Please download the BCSN Pod Zone. Pick up the audio version of all of our podcasts. I was listening to Brave Talk while I was driving over here from Georgia to Alabama in the car at 4 o'clock this morning. So thank you, Charles, for keeping me woke this morning.
Charles, you be safe in your travels back. I know you had, a loss in the family, so our thoughts and prayers with you. All I can say is I've been there. I've been there, and you know what I mean. So anything you need, just let me know. And also, it was good hearing Dean Barnes back for another year. And so tell Dean I was listening, and if he needs me to help out in any way, just let me know. It was good hearing Dean Barnes back. On that note, as always, you can tune in on Saturdays from traditionally 10 a.m. to 12 noon Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for the Carlos Brown Show on the Black College Sports Network. If you would like to make a donation to the Carlos Brown Show, you can see the Cash App information is up, the Carlos Brown Show. Until next Saturday at 10 a.m. for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively right here on the Black College Sports Network. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, peace and God bless.
Yes, that sound means it's time once again for the 36th annual Labor Day Classic. Featuring the Prairie View A&M Panthers versus your Texas Southern Tigers for the Battle of the Lone Star State on Saturday, September 4th. Kickoff, 7 p.m. at BBVA Stadium. Don't forget the halftime battle of the bands as the TSU Ocean of Soul take on the PVA MU Marching Storm. Tickets are available online at www.tsusoul.com. www.tsusports.com/LDC tickets. Let's bring the Nick Sterling Traveling Trophy back to its rightful home. Follow the Black College Sports Network on social media at MyBCSN1, the number 1, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MyBCSN1.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready, because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the pregame.
And welcome into the pregame show here on the Black College Sports Network. It is a relaxed Charles Bishop and Neely as we are in these final preparations for the Orange Blossom Classic. Neely, we are 8 hours and 8 minutes away from Florida A&M Jackson State.
Oh, you're counting midnight.
I'm
You man, I was about to say, like, damn, Chuck, we late. We're supposed to be at the team hotel. I got you. You counting midnight. Well, we're actually 23 hours away from kickoff. 23 hours away. We're 23 hours away from kickoff, and we were with the team earlier today. Coach Prime made it clear that a text was going out to the team at the 24-hour mark, and things are going to be measured in hour increments into kickoff. So, hey, man, we're inside that window, Chuck. It's 24 hours to week 1, Jackson State versus FAMU here in Miami for the Orange Blossom Classic.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, team went through their final preparations today. Game awareness, sharpening up the tool bag video in terms of all the scenarios that could potentially happen. Spirited walkthrough this morning. And the team, we got an opportunity to tour a little bit of the Hard Rock Stadium. So it was an eventful last day to be able to try.
Yeah, it was, Chuck. We were with the team this morning, and traveled over to practice at Miami Gardens at the community center. I think it's Bunch Community Center. Am I right on that, Chuck?
Yeah, Ralph Bunch Community Center.
Yeah, Bunch Community Center. So had a much better practice today than was held on Friday. And Coach Prime, complimented the team on that and being more focused and engaged in the practice. So you wanted to end on a high note, and they certainly did that. And on the way back to the hotel, took that detour, as you mentioned, and went by Hard Rock Stadium and got some good sights and sounds of our student athletes walking out onto that field and through that locker room for the first time.
Yeah, and you can tell by the excitement looks on everyone's face. They're really ready to get to this game tomorrow, and just taking in the sights and sounds of Hard Rock Stadium was really special for this game.
And speaking of sights and sounds, Chuck, as people have been watching since Wednesday, our arrival with the team, and bring you all of the inside scoop, we got to shout out, the sponsors who have made this week possible and making the broadcast possible for the rest of the season. Northington PLLC, Hiawatha Northern Attorney in Jackson area, as title sponsor for the FAMU week. Cannot forget Gaylord Chambers and Gaylord Law Firm have been with us even during the spring season, making it happen, as well as Amber Slaughter, the project architect. And Chuck, when you are hungry and we're back in Jackson, yes, cannot forget about Broad Street Bakery, Bravo Italian, great restaurant, and Sal and Mookie's Pizza. So excited to have them as a sponsor for this season as we get ready. It's week one, man. It's college football week one. It's Labor Day weekend.
It is Labor Day weekend, college football, tremendous amount of excitement in the air for all of HBCU football. But you talk about the crown jewel of them all, which will be the Orange Blossom class of Jackson State and Florida A&M. And I tell you what, Neely, we walked through Hard Rock Stadium with the team today. Guys got an opportunity to sit in the locker room, take it all in, and having this opportunity to play in this NFL stadium, it's a really special thing for all of us.
And you can really see the looks on their faces, man, to appreciate that they were in the NFL stadium. And Coach Prime spoke to the team. Chuck, we're in that position where we get to see a lot, but we don't show everything because the team and the coaches, they're entitled to that privacy and just moments of just them, but can report to you that one of the things Coach Prime pointed out, like, hey, everybody in this locker room, has played on Thursdays, has played on Fridays, has played on Saturdays, but here you guys are on week one preparing to play on a Sunday. And we hope that is what's going to happen to you when you leave Jackson State. Somebody's going to be playing on Sundays, and it starts this week at Hard Rock Stadium, Orange Blossom Classic, Jackson State versus FAMU.
Yeah, and we had an opportunity. We had an opportunity to sit in on a really special moment in that locker room. Jackson State, the captains were named, and to your credit, pointed out one player who was named captain. Special shout out to Anthony Petty, who was named captain for tomorrow's game. From the scout team to being captain, special honor for the young man from Wheaton, Mississippi. Stone County, stand up.
And Stone County, stand up. And Chuck, you don't have to give me props for noticing what you cannot miss, and that is all summer long. Almost sound like I was going to a Grease song, or for our audience, a little high five. All summer long, we've been together. So when you have been at camp this summer and you've seen the work that Petty's put in, I whispered to you just yesterday at practice when he was out there with the scout team. I said, man, Petty's trying to play. Petty wants to play. And you fast forward 24 hours to be with the team at Hard Rock Stadium, and to a surprise to everybody, Coach Sanders started asking Petty some questions, and he would answer. He said, and that's why I'm naming you a captain, because you have earned it. You have personified what this team is about: hard work, sacrifice, grinding, no matter what your role is, that you didn't see your role on the scout team or as a backup. You saw it as playing football. And so tomorrow the captains will be QB1, Shedeur Sanders, Niles Gaddy, and straight out of Stone County, man, from the scout team, Petty ain't Petty, baby. Petty's coming. Petty not only wants to play, man, Petty can play.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. He has definitely been showing it especially this week. One of the more spirited players that's been out there breaking up balls, making plays, you know, and I tell you what, he's backed up the talk with the play, man. He has really been flying around all over.
Chuck, I'm just looking at you chilling in the hotel lobby. This is like the first show we've done this week that's almost like regular season shows where, off-season shows where we're not together.
Right.
You know, we're both in different parts of Metro Miami right now, and you are relaxed, I'm relaxed, but tomorrow is the day, baby. Tomorrow is the day. I'm feeling a little Hyman Roth out here by the pool with the cigar and the drink, you know. My line brother's back there getting out the pool, going up the steps. Hey, there's a former Miss Jackson State back there. Lori Jackson, she's live on here, don't know it.
I see Lori back there.
She coming around here to be ignorant.
Yes, indeed. I tell you what, dude. Hi, Lori. How you doing?
Hey.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Miss JSU 99. That used to be like her AOL email address on Black Planet. Miss JSU 99. Hey, she still got a MySpace page. If anybody out there looking for Laura, just go to MySpace or Black Planet and, and type in MSJSU 99. Y'all be able to find it.
Oh boy, I tell you, man, you guys are.
Hey, but Lori, look, you appreciate this. You know, Lori was on the episode and we talked about her sneaking food into Memorial Stadium and not realize it was sneaking. Well, she made some poolside sandwiches today with cheese. You got to have cheese. But here's important out there to Tiger Nation. Here's what you want to do when you make sandwiches with cheese. Take the plastic off the cheese. It's a critical step in a cheese sandwich. Is taking the plastic off the cheese.
Oh, she's going to get you. You know that. Man, we take a look. We will get into a lot of the game storylines tomorrow, but a little sneak preview, of what we'll be talking about tomorrow prior to we look at Lori back there. I see you, Lori.
Oh, yeah, the cheese. She got the cheese. Got to take the plastic off. Let's see if she knows how to do it. I don't think she knows how to take the plastic off the cheese because she didn't earlier. Okay, that's a good step. You want to fold that back. All right. Okay. Going good.
Then you put it on the back. You put it on the bread. Then you put it on the bread just like this.
This is what happens when you go live, Chuck.
This is what happens when you go live, no doubt. Thank you, Lori. We take a look a little bit at this game, Neil. And we're talking about two blue blood programs in Jackson State and Florida A&M. Jackson State actually leads the series 10 games to 7. 2 ties, but in the Orange Blossom Classic, Jackson State and Florida A&M, they split a player, 1961, 1962. When you take a look at the games in Jackson, Jackson State has won their fair share. They're 62 against Florida A&M and Jackson. And interestingly enough, they own Florida A&M in Tallahassee. They won 4 games to 3 over Florida A&M. So been a good stretch, if you will, for Jackson State over this Florida A&M Rattler team.
You know, Chuck, that was useful. That was nice. There's nothing like history, and you are the stat man. But if I had some paper, I would ball it up and throw it to the pool. You can throw out the records because here's what none of those teams had. None of those teams had Willie Simmons as head coach. None of those teams had Coach Prime Sanders as head coach. None of those teams were having the eyes of the world on this game for week 1 and all the intensity and attention that goes to it. Now, some of the things that come with those teams that I believe this time is going to be true as well. You're looking at some future NFL players on both teams, on both sides of the ball for both teams. There are going to be some student athletes from FAMU, some student athletes from Jackson State, whose names are going to be called in the NFL draft. So this is exciting, but I don't think FAMU is worried about the number of times they've lost. I don't think Jackson State is focused on the number of times they've won. This is a new game, a new creature to itself, the resurgence of the Orange Blossom Classic under the Coach Prime era, under the Simmons era. And it's the first of a couple of games, Chuck, that we'll be back here. Like this ain't just one and done. This is the start of something new, the start of something big. As we say in athletics at Jackson State, building on tradition, blazing new trails. Here comes a new trail for the Orange Blossom Classic.
Yes, indeed. So Jackson State fans, get those plane tickets now. Get those reservations to make sure as you will see your Jackson State Tigers back in this Orange Blossom Classic game. You mentioned some of the players that we will see in this game. quarterback, Rashad McKay for Florida A&M. Big time safety. He is a boxer All-American. Marquise Bell for Florida A&M. When you talk about Jackson State, Keontae Hampton, all-SWAC linebacker, Aubrey Miller, all-SWAC linebacker, Dejon Nugget Warren. These guys will play a pretty pivotal role tomorrow.
They will, and I think the coaches are also counting on the backups because, you know, we have a nice depth chart, but there is not a drop off in talent when it comes to the second unit coming in or even the third unit coming in. So it is key to keep an eye on those starting linebackers, but don't forget about those number twos coming in. Same thing with the D line. We're going to look for a big game out of Junior. You're going to look for a big game out of Jermani Crane. Like, there's so many names that we can just go down the list with some guys who've been here, like Keontae Hampton, like CJ Holmes, Warren Newman on the offense. Like, there's going to be contribution all over the field.
Yeah, no doubt. There will be contribution all over the field. And I think that has been a theme that we've heard repeatedly this past week is making sure that those reps from those second and third teams, that they're getting reps because you never know. They will be called upon at some point tomorrow.
It will be. And speaking of called upon, I'm going to be calling upon Jesus because there's this baby iguana that's been hanging out by the pool. And if he comes out while we live, it's going to be some action, y'all. You might want to go ahead and start your screen records. So that's why you see me doing this, because he got a couple of friends that's been coming around here too. You know, we got lizards in Jackson, but they lizards like that. Like the lizards around here, man, is Komodo dragons. So I'm looking around. Hey, shout out, speaking of sponsors, shout out to Churchill Smoke Shop. You know, token on this nice Asylum 13. Compliments of Churchill Smoke Shop. Cannot forget about them. They've been with us for a while. We've actually gone live from Churchill a time or two in the past as well.
Yes, indeed. We've gone live from Churchill with Chad Ford chiming in and giving us some great insight in terms of
had Deuce McAllister at Churchill on a live show.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, well, Chuck, you look relaxed.
I'm not going to say what's near the computer screen here, but yeah, I'm a little relaxed.
I got one of these back here, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, mine is off to the side. I'm trying to keep these scats here in front of me. But yeah, man, I tell you what, we're definitely looking forward to getting it on. There's a lot of activity going on here at the hotel. Is Neely, man, I'll tell you what, you are a celebrity within this pregame show. Hey, are you the guy that does the show at Neely? Yeah.
It's the beard, Chuck. It's the beard. See, what you got to do is CC, when you look at our logo down at the bottom, I see it down there. You got to keep your headphones on everywhere you go. See, I keep the beard on everywhere I go. So people are like, hey, that's that guy. If you walk around in your headphones, I'm telling you, man, you're going to be signing autographs in no time.
Instantly recognizable with the headphones. I get it. Well, I tell you what, we'll take a quick break here on the pregame show, and we'll be coming back with some more Jackson State athletics.
Can I get the now bar, please? $1. Have a good one. Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
The inaugural Boeing Red Tails Classic is personal to me. It's more than a matchup between Tuskegee University and Fort Valley State University. My beloved father, Colonel Lawrence E. Roberts, was a proud member of the Tuskegee Airmen. 922 brave pilots, also known as the Red Tails, fought in World War II. The Boeing Red Tails Classic is more than a celebration of HBCUs. It's a reminder of the Tuskegee Airmen's valor and sacrifice, the first class of black fighter pilots who trained at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama during the height of Jim Crow, fighting for America, while in many ways America fought right back against them. This inaugural Boeing Red Tails Classic, this football game, is for them. And it's quite special that this game, which will be played at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama, opens the 2021 college football season on Sunday, September 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. When you watch this game, please remember its larger meaning, that it's for a group who advocated for themselves while still facing prejudice and discrimination in the segregated army. The Tuskegee Airmen story hardly gets told enough. I, proud daughter of a Tuskegee Airman, join others who champion their legacy and how they influence generations of Black cultural and political leaders.
And welcome back into the Game Show here on the Black College Sports Network. I tell you what, man, we mentioned earlier the history of the Orange Blossom Classic, man. Tell you what, Jackson State and Florida A&M, they played two Humdinger 1961 and 1962.
I tell you this, man, you know, one of our points of contention since doing this show has been who's been the greatest Jackson State quarterback of all time. I was lobbying and voting for Sean Gregory in those late 80s, early 90s, and you voted and pushed for Roy Curry. And, you know, recently you sat down with your brother Curry to talk about those days. And, you know, we put part one in the first episode and put part two out there on its own on the YouTube channel. I want everybody to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel because you get some unique content there. But we're going to show part three during this episode and part four tomorrow during the pregame show as we get ready to head to the game. So Chuck, talk to me a minute about the time you spent with Roy Curry, your GOAT QB for JSU football, and some of the things you got out of that interview.
Let me tell you, it was a real honor to sit down and talk to Roy Curry. And when you talk about being the MVP of the 1962 Orange Blossom Classic game, when you talk to a lot of people who live and breathe Jackson State football and can go back and talk to you about those early days, they will tell you that he was one of the most special quarterbacks that Jackson State has ever seen. Comparisons to a Michael Vick or to a Russell Wilson. And the reality of it is Roy Curry was ahead of his time because this was, he was playing a position that was not yet drafted in the NFL. He is sort of the precursor, not even sort of, he is the precursor to Shaq Harris at Grambling, who gets drafted later on in the 60s, or some of the other great quarterbacks who came out in the latter part of the 60s, but we're talking about the early 1960s, and we're talking about a John Merritt offense that was not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Roy Curry had one of the most prolific receivers in the Southwestern Athletic Conference in Greenville, Mississippi's own Willie Richardson. Willie Richardson, by most accounts, was a precursor to Jerry Rice in terms of being one of those preeminent receivers within the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So it was a true honor to sit down and talk with Roy Curry about those early days and his memories of the Orange Blossom Classic. I tell you what, AD, we can go ahead and roll. And that brings me to my next question in terms of the innovation that Big John Merritt brought to this Jackson State football team. You mentioned the coaching staff in terms of Albert Coleman being the offense coordinator, Joe Gilliam, the defensive coordinator. But this is during a time period where a lot of football is 3 yards on a cloud of dust, but you guys were passing the ball left and right from looking at the statistics.
We had the people that could go get it. That's what it was. We had the people that could go get it, man. I mean, we had an outstanding quarterback there before I got there. And it was just my sophomore year I began to start. But Cornelius Addison was an outstanding passer. And he kept things kind of started at that particular time. Because when Willie got there, he was a freshman. Addison was a junior. And of course, Addison could really pass the ball. He could really pass the ball. And once he handed everything over to me in my sophomore year, and we shared the position, they all found out that I had the big arm. I had the biggest arm. And we sometimes would throw the ball down the field. I could throw 70 to 80 yards down the field.
Wow.
And there'd be tight spirals and a bullet. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. And of course, it was the guy used to say in my hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi, Roy Curry can throw the football from one end of the field to the other. I never seen nothing like it. I mean, and being able to be tight spirals, you know. So, hey man, we passed the ball quite a bit, and that's all Coach Mary used to say. Hey Roy, put the ball in the air, baby. Put that ball in the air. And if you don't see nobody, take off and run. Take off and run. And that's exactly what I would do. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome history just to get that from Coach Mary giving you the green light to do whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you know what's amazing about this, Charles? I basically call all my own plays. I basically call all my own plays. Every time, every so often there was some play in. But I always call my own plays, but I will always listen to whatever Cooley would say. If Cooley would say, Roy, we can trap this guy up in the line. We got a guy who like to come off the ball real fast, so let's trap him. Either Willie would say, Roy, I can beat this guy on a down and out. I can beat this guy on a post route. It was that's just how it was. So I was telling the story that we were on Joby Martin's show. He was a radio DJ in Jackson, Mississippi. So he invited Willie and I. This was after our first year in professional football. And he said, Willie, what was so great about Roy Curry? Willie said one word, great listener. He was a great listener. And I would listen to all the guys when they tell me what they thought would work. During the course of the game, they'll get back to the huddle before I get ready to call the play and say, hey, run this. And I run it and usually it's be successful.
You know, I take a look at that time period, and I want to ask this question, Coach Curry, in terms of where you were within history of the Black quarterback. You got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you weren't given an opportunity to play quarterback. And I'm always curious, you know, how do you look at that sort of time period in history, just not getting the opportunity to play quarterback? But as we start to pan into the 60s, Shaq Harris gets that opportunity. Eldridge Dickey gets that opportunity. Within where you are within the historical framework of HBCU football, how do you sort of, do you kind of have any regrets?
Yes. You know, I had a chance to go up in Canada to play in the Canadian League. But what happened, I decided, well, I want to stay in the States so my people could see me play, you know.
Sure.
And when I got to Pittsburgh, we had a guy by the name of Coach Parker. He was the head coach at that particular time. And he was interviewing all the rookies. And he'll bring them in one at a time. And when it came time for me to go in and be interviewed by Coach Parker, he opened up by saying, we're going to make you a running back. That's where he opened up by saying. And I had no choice because I just wanted to play.
Sure.
But I thought that I never got a chance. I never got a chance. I never put my hand up under the center, take a snap. The only passes I threw was on option passes. But the thing about it was, if I would have gotten a chance, I would have excelled. I would have excelled easily. I would have excelled even. Yeah. But the thing that saved me and helped me make the team was a guy from the Pittsburgh Courier. What was his name?
Bill Nunn? Are you referencing
Bill Nunn? There you go.
Great Bill Nunn.
Charles, you're ahead of your time. Bill Nunn, man, he said, here we got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he's a running back and wide receiver. And it's unfair for him to be playing out of position. And that's the reason they kept me around. And then when they kept me around, I started excelling as a wide receiver. You know, they moved me out the backfield because they had big running backs back in that time. Big John Henry Johnson, Clarence Peak, Bob Ferguson from Ohio State, everybody All-American. So they're using big backs, and I weighed close to 200 pounds. I wasn't large enough. They wanted 230, 240 pound running backs at that time. Sure. So of course, the important thing was, you know, I just really just took my mind into being a wide receiver. And then I started catching balls, and I ended up making a big catch in the weekend when we played against the Chicago Bears. That was the weekend President Kennedy got killed. That was the weekend Kennedy got killed. So I scored a touchdown on my buddy from Grambling, Roosevelt Taylor.
Okay.
And, yeah.
The great Roosevelt Taylor. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
the great Roosevelt Taylor. Oh man, great Roosevelt Taylor. So it was just a good time. But I wish I could have played quarterback. If I could have played quarterback, I'd probably still been playing now.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And you know, in terms of the research, Seth Schwartz wrote a tremendous piece on you, and I was fascinated by you used to work out guys that you know were drafted as they came into the Chicago area, whatever. You would throw passes to them and get them sharp before a training camp. So you still had that quarterback in you.
I had the big arm. Dick Gordon, Jimmy Jones, Gloucester Richardson, Gail Sayers, Andy Livingston, all those guys, Willie Ross, who ended up playing with the Buffalo Bills. That's the story in itself. But we all used to work out down there Stagg Field at the University of Chicago, and I would be throwing balls to all of them. And you know, they all felt that, hey man, you still got it, man. You still got it. I said, yeah. You understand. I can't use it because at that time they weren't letting too many Afro-Americans play quarterback.
If you're looking for quality seafood with friendly service, then the Fish Shack is the place for you. We're fast, fresh, and convenient, and ready to serve you today. You can order online and come in, or pick up your food curbside. We have outdoor seating as well. Need something to cool your taste buds? We have tasty daiquiris that you're sure to love. So come see us today at the Fish Shack in Byram, where we have great seafood and good daiquiris.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan's?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community, and their family owned and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
thank you guys for what you do.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the Black College Sports Network. Neely and Bishop, as we are in our final preparations for the Orange Blossom Classic. I tell you what, there's a tremendous opportunity to sit down talking to Roy Curry, giving us tremendous knowledge, tremendous history of Jackson State football and his time playing in the Orange Blossom Classic. And talking about those players of yesterday, Chico George, Lewis McCray, and guess who else was on that 1962 Black College National Championship team?
Who's that, Chuck?
Future head coach James Big Daddy Carson.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Chuck, one thing that I appreciate, man, is not only how you bring the history, to this show, but I appreciate the fans who appreciate that you bring the history to the show. And when you sit there and you see comments of people, loving the history lesson, because one thing that we're big on at Jackson State Athletics is building on tradition, blazing new trails. We're still in the business of challenging minds and changing lives, and you could never put the spotlight enough on the people who helped us get where we are and the broad shoulders we stand on. People like Roy Curry, people like Lim Barney, but even in the modern day, Kevin Dent has been on the show. Sean Gregory has been on the show. Andre Lloyd has been on the show. You have contributors who come on the defensive side of the ball. Chad Ford has been on the show. Jimmy Smith has been a regular contributor on the show. So we always want to put the spotlight on not just the current players, but those players, again, whose shoulders we all stand on. So Chuck, well done. And to the audience out there, tune in tomorrow morning. We're going to do the pregame show a little earlier tomorrow before we head off to the stadium with the team. And so you're going to get part 4 of that Roy Curry interview during tomorrow's show.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to it. Neil, to continue to put the spotlight on this Jackson State athletics department, shout out to Dr. Ted for guidance, head soccer coach. Program-defining win. Soccer defeated Troy in the home opener. First time in program history. They knocked out the Troy Trojans 2-1. So shout out to Maya J. Thompson as she received a beautiful pass from Tyler Sands. Shot from the left-hand side of the goal, finding the net for an early 1-0 lead. Then Ziggy Porter, she got the Tigers on the board again, and she fired one into the net, taking a 2-0 lead. They knock out the Troy Trojans 2-1. Shout out to Dr. Ted for guidance and the Jackson State ladies soccer team.
And setting the stage, shout out to that soccer team, man, beating Troy, setting the stage for the Tigers football team in a couple of weeks to go to Monroe and beat ULM.
How about that? Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
And also, Chuck, we got coming up tomorrow your interview with volleyball. I know the pregame show this time of the year seems football, but it's really JSU athletics. So we're going to be bringing you things from soccer and football, volleyball, all the fall sports. And then, once we get to November, even though football season is going on, basketball season is picking back up, and you're going to be seeing a lot of Coach Reed and Coach Burke and Coach Brent and those staffs and those players on. So we keep the focus on JSU athletics, but this is a football time of year. It is week 1. We are in Miami for the Orange Blossom Classic. Chuck, we've been talking about this game since the schedule came out, since the contracts were signed. We'll be here next year and the year after that for this. So make your plans to travel back to Miami as Jackson State is going to continue to participate in this event, historical HBCU event under the leadership of Ashley Robinson, our Vice President, Athletic Director. And we couldn't have a better working with Chuck than we have with the athletic department under A.D. Robinson and his staff.
Very much so. Very much so. They rolled up a red carpet for the pregame show, and we continue to thank them for all that they're doing with regards to using this platform to bring our Jackson State fan base as much Jackson State content as they can.
Now, Chuck, somebody gonna get mad that you said red carpet, even though the bill of my hat is red. You need to say the blue carpet. Now bring the blue carpet. The blue carpet. Blue carpet with red trim.
There you go. No doubt about it.
And Chuck, Dwayne Williams, our good friend, out of Una, Mississippi. He claims he claims West Point. He's over there in Dallas. He said you look a little too relaxed, that you need to, stop chilling so much on there.
I'm fairly relaxed, Dwayne. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, you've earned it. Been here since Wednesday, grinding multiple shows a day, and one more round to go, Chuck. One more round to go. Tomorrow is the day. We are now less than 23 hours away from kickoff of the Orange Blossom Classic, Jackson State versus FAMU. Tomorrow morning, going to be doing a little bit of a deeper dive into some of those player personalities, what to expect from that game, depth chart wise on our side of the ball, what to look for, players to watch. And I tell you guys, if y'all watch this show this spring and you listen to Chuck's Around the Swag and what to watch and who to look out for, then you'll know oftentimes those very numbers on those jerseys that we said expect a big game from, they delivered with a big game.
You better believe it. You better believe it. So looking forward to bringing that to our Jackson State fan base tomorrow. We'll want to say this real quick, Neely. If you're in Jackson, go watch the soccer game. The Jackson State lady soccer team, they will be hosting USCM on Sunday tomorrow. And
okay, good deal.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah,
they're finishing out their non-conference slate. They will be in Denton, Texas, taking on North Texas. They will take on North Texas on September 10th. So definitely want to get that out there for our Jackson State fan base. Support Jackson State Athletics.
Support Jackson State Athletics, all of the team sports. Support by giving, not just buying season tickets. We love you to purchase season tickets, but there are other ways to contribute. We got the locker campaign where you can sponsor a locker, have your name on it, and have a player associated with it and have a relationship with that player. Also have the ADs Club. So many other ways to give, not just during that day of giving, but continued support to support our student athletes. And I'll tell you something, Chuck, that you can do that is very easy to do if you want to support our student athletes, particularly in this age of name, image, and likeness. Go to their social media, like them, follow them, reshare things they post, comment on their posts with encouraging words, because all of that builds their marketable value. And Chuck, here's something our audience needs to know in that regard. When you look at college football nationwide, regardless of division, regardless where you're in the bowl championship series or not, we have a player, Shedeur Sanders, who is number 3 in marketability in the nation, as far as his social media reach, his engagement, number of followers, and that kind of thing. So it matters, Chuck. It leads to deals like him getting the Beats deal and some more things to come for some of our other players. So it's so important that when you think, hey, I don't know how I can help, I don't know what to do to help, you can simply, Chuck, see, Chuck, let me show you something. See here, see y'all, see, a lot of times y'all think Neely just be on here playing. How I flip this camera? Look right there.
We're gonna get a shot of the iguana.
You see right there by number 6, and that's a little one. Like, see, that's why Neely's on edge over here, and not just the edge of the pool. Every now and then, a little baby iguana come out and want to chill with your boy live on the pregame show. Going on now.
We got another deep fan, huh?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just gone. Speaking of our Jackson State fan base, let me tell you something. They have showed up and showed out here in Miami. Jackson State fans all over the place down here. Looking forward to that same turnout in Memphis next week as we take on Tennessee State Tigers up there in the Southern Heritage Classic. Yeah, I keep saying best fan base in all of HBCU football, best fan base in FCS. As we get on the road, put those RBs on the road, head on the road the week after. So looking forward to all these great road games. Put our Tiger fan base on the road. Follow these Jackson State football Tigers.
And speaking of that road, Chuck, well said. We are on the road here in Miami. And next week we'll be in Memphis for the Southern Heritage Classic. And the week after that, going over to Monroe as we play ULM, and then bringing back home for that soul-filled weekend in Jackson State versus Delta State at the Vet. And it's a big weekend because that next day, Sunday, Mississippi Valley will host, I'm assuming they're the host team, it's home side, but they will play Southern Baton Rouge at the Vet. So you got a back-to-back weekend. We have our home opener against Delta State, soul-filled weekend, lots of activities, lots of concerts, lots of networking, all done safely with social distancing, masks, always encouraging people to get vaccinated. I'm hanging out with vaccinated guys right now. Hey man, you got to show me your card to hang with Neely. So
there you go.
Get vaccinated, practice social distancing, keep those hands washed, and just do the right thing as we still navigate this pandemic, but also support HBCU sports while we're doing it. So Chuck, we're here in Miami. We're going to get this W at this Orange Blossom Classic, then go to that Southern Heritage Classic. Then we're going to go to Monroe. Then we're finally home. Finally home at the Vet on September 25th, playing host to Delta State.
Yes, playing host to Delta State. That would be a huge weekend. In addition to that weekend, we have Ashley Robinson, the Debbie Gordon golf tournament on the 23rd. So definitely looking forward to that. Got a little pitching wedge up my sleeve for that one.
I tell you this, Chuck, Muhammad Ali being here in Miami, this is where one night in Miami, he made it happen, that big upset. And Ali used to say when he talked the most smack, that's when he was actually the most nervous. And I can tell y'all, when y'all see me puff the most cigar, that's when I'm actually the most nervous. So every time I hit this cigar, it's because this damn lizard done got closer. This Komodo dragon over here that got closer to me. So y'all think I'm chilling, but this cigar is really my security blanket. Because I keep looking to the side. And one uncle had a bull, Chuck. He looking this way now.
You got a little Fidel Castro action with the cigar, with the iguana, man. I tell you.
Yeah, I ain't look, man. We ain't got them like that. We got the ones that get in your house. You know, you just
yeah.
This one big enough to ring the doorbell. Dominoes, like let them in. I don't know.
Yeah, you already touched on the Dominoes. Piece of
This might be Domino's revenge. So when y'all see me looking left, that's what I'm checking out. He chilling right now, but he done got close and I won't.
Oh boy, I tell you what. Looking forward to bringing you all the great storylines on tomorrow. The pregame show. We always say like, share, and subscribe to the Facebook page, social media outlets, YouTube page as well. As we continue to pump content out there for our Jackson State fan base, our HBCU fan base, our extended Jackson State fan base.
Sure, because we share a lot of that content exclusive coverage with guys like over at HBCU Game Day. So we know that it's not just a Jackson State specific audience. There's an HBCU audience out there. There's a sports audience out there. There's a Coach Prime audience out there. We welcome them all, and we encourage you to not just think, well, I'm on the Facebook page, so I got it covered. Because what you see more and more, we're doing different content on each one of these platforms. So don't want you to miss anything. So if you subscribe on YouTube, which is doing excellent numbers, people are really buying in and following that. Turn that subscription on, turn that notification on, because you get posts. Like, for instance, that Roy Curry Part 2 is on YouTube, and it's been there. So we did Part 1 on the show, Part 2 just on YouTube, and Part 3 on the show. You want to make sure you're subscribing to those social media platforms so you don't miss any of that content as I continue to look to my left at who I've named Trigger Man, which is this bold, just more than bold baby iguana that just want to keep coming over here.
Oh boy, I tell you what, David, I'm gonna let you fight the iguana over there.
I ain't gonna be no fight. I'm gone. Like, ain't no, look, he won. We good.
They say we good.
No, ain't no fight. Ain't no fight. We probably gonna fight tomorrow. You know, we play fam. You know, it's gonna be a hell of a competition. Great game. I'm looking forward to some a stronger defensive presence. So that's gonna be a fight. But I ain't fighting by this pool with this lizard now. This is.
Not only
in fact, this Airbnb, he live here. I'm visiting, so I need to move.
Exactly. There you go. Not only a fight on the football field, but it'll be a fight in the stands with regards to the Sonic Boom of the South and the March 100.
Yes, and I saw some good footage from the parade today.
Yes.
Over in Carroll City. You know, we've made our way around all this city, man, through with the Miami-Dade law enforcement, with the escorts. But it's good to see Tiger recruitment was out at the area high school on Friday with some recruitment activities. You know, we're not just going to concede Florida to Bethune-Cookman and to FAMU. We're going to recruit Florida and on up the East Coast now, because when SWAC expanded, it expanded our recruitment footprint to the east, just like it expanded theirs to the west. So we're not going to concede anything. We're going to be in this market talking JSU sports, and I believe in recruiting all the students we can to 1400 Lynch Street.
Yes, indeed. No doubt about it. You know the tagline. So we look forward to bringing you exciting Jackson State football storylines tomorrow. Neely, we're here, man. It was the Orange Blossom Classic. We have finally gotten to close to at least September 5th, so we can see some exciting Jackson State football action. Everything is pointed up. Looking forward to bring our Jackson State fans all that they can have. Dale over there.
I had to get that out, man. Look at that ass, man. Look at that ass.
I see you.
Had to get that out, Chuck, as I peer to the left of Trigger Man over here. And if you just joined us, that's Trigger Man is this baby iguana, Komodo dragon, Godzilla mutant offspring that is finding his way toward my foot over here. I done threw him a couple of vinegar, salt vinegar chips. He ain't interested in them. I'm trying to buy his loyalty, Chuck. Like, no, go on over there. I get a chip.
Oh man, looking forward to
About to put $40 down and see if you take that. You know, $40 gets you a lot of things this time. So get this 40 like, I don't know.
I was waiting on it. I knew it was coming. Oh boy, we look forward to tomorrow bringing you the pregame show. Like, share, and subscribe. Neely, any parting words?
Be an early show. Be an early show tomorrow. You know, I know guys are used to us doing the pregame show about an hour and a half before kickoff. There's a 3 p.m. kickoff, but the pregame show is going to be live before we go to the stadium. Team will be departing for the stadium around noon. So look for us somewhere about 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern, bringing you the pregame show. Flexible time because we're flexible brothers. So wish I could say, oh, but tune in at 7:30, but look for us tomorrow morning, well before kickoff. You'll be getting the pregame show. And parting words, Chuck, always got to thank and recognize our sponsors. You know, Northington PLLC, Attorney Hiawatha, Northington. Got to thank Broad Street Bakery. Also, their sister restaurants, Bravo and Sal and Mookie. So in Jackson, visit those. Our longtime sponsor, Chambers and Gaylord Law Firm, and Amber Slaughter, the project architect. It's now September. We're in a new season, and the Lizard has moved to a place where I not know where he is. So taking a pause on the underwriter. Gotta do some station identification. Could wait. Yeah. So shout out to the Black College Sports Network and AD Drew and Roy for all that they do to get this out. And also, Chuck, man, you know, we're all in this together. We may joke and tease a lot. It's almost like Welcome Back, Carter. We tease them a lot because we got them on the spot, but welcome back. Old school out there. Remember that song? Hey, you know, support Dr. Cavill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Support the Carlos Brown Show, which focuses on Southern sports, Southern Baton Rouge. Knights of the Round Table. The OG Strike Zone. Coming out of FAMU, you know, we're all partners in this Black College Sports Network, Rising Tide lifts all boats. So, yeah, Black College Sports Rap, you know, and hopefully, man, the list gets longer and longer of shows that are doing things to spotlight HBCU athletics and the HBCU culture.
Jay Jones, now part of the family as well. So look forward to all of your Black College sports action here on the Black College Sports Network. But I tell you what, pregame show, hey man, we're coming to you.
I'm starting to think my Sam might be Winnie the Pooh in the pool. He ain't got out the pool. We ain't see the bottom. He might be butt booty naked over there in the water.
Oh boy, I tell you what, man.
When we get off. Hey man, the Lizard came out and went somewhere. I don't know where he went to, so I'm a little. Okay, all right.
There you go.
Hi,
the Lizard.
Hey, D, you got any announcements about tomorrow? I know we're doing a bunch of pregame stuff. Producer, you on?
Yeah, we coming in. That Dr. Cavill show will lead off the day's coverage tomorrow. Chuck got a long day tomorrow, just like I had one today. Then we'll come in with you guys after that. And then we will have the BCSN Game Time live from Montgomery, Alabama, where we'll be doing not the pregame show, a pregame show for the inaugural Red Tails Classic featuring Tuskegee versus Fort Valley. And during that show, outside the interviews that we'll have here live locally, we'll go back over today's coverage of the games and preview tomorrow's games. And one more thing.
Let's see.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah.
Turn the camera back on.
Yeah. All right, we appreciate you, D.A.D. Now, yeah. Take it on out here.
Let me cut my camera. Let me cut my camera off. I thought I had cut my camera off, but I did that.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll be underway. It'll be an hour and 42 minutes into the game, so about halftime in 24 hours. And Sonic Boom in the South is going to put that thing on the March in 26. And we'll wait to predict the final score tomorrow's show. So y'all tune in for that.
Y'all got to make up y'all mind. Y'all got to give us one. We either got to take the game or the Battle of the Band.
No,
we're not giving anything.
Nothing.
No,
See, I gotta get used to this swag area because y'all just stingy. Y'all want everything.
Yeah,
You're right. Facts.
That's how we are.
That's how I
not
roll.
just, and it's not even a swag arrogance. It's Jackson State arrogance. I get that all day.
Which is another level.
Which is another level of arrogance. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I tell you what.
Arrogance on steroids.
Yes, indeed. We're gonna get out of here. We'll see you in the morning. It is Neely, my brother Neely, over there, poolside. Looking like a retired mobster over there.
Hey man, yeah, you know, Hyman Roth here. I got my man Bumpy Johnson back there at the pool. Discussing how we're gonna leverage the swag. The lizard just ran away from me, so I'm good. He gone the other way. I can see.
You're good. What better way?
And AD, I don't have my ball of paper, so I'm gonna throw the chip bag at you. So just look for the chip bag.
Here we go.
How about just throwing one chip out the bag, man? Don't waste the whole bag.
Well, my partner Neely.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the pregame.